disclaimer though, because while I think it is stupendous to have the capacity to chart where the actual planets are floating floating around us, falling around us, taking those celestial movements and then trying to apply them to someone's life in some sort of forecast way seems a bit strange to me. Seems to be a bit ungrounded, but at the same time, seeking inspiration from the stars seems like a really, really important, lovely thing to do. I'm not sure how the audio quality is going to be, so I'm going to attempt to speak up a little bit. So that way, if it is working or not, hopefully you'll still be able to hear. I know I need to work on that. All right, so the chart that we're going to be looking at and drawing inspiration from and storytelling from, and I do find, I don't know, no, different systems call for different sort of focus aspect. I think I've scared enough of you off already. I'm not trying to do that. Just I don't want people to take this so literally that they stop stop remembering that they have access to their powers. So, what we've got here and what I'm going to be looking at today is the chart for the full moon that takes place on the 10th of September. So, basically, this full moon, I don't know if you can see it, but I certainly can. You've got the sun in Virgo, which is going to be right here, this constellation. So the sun essentially is in this constellation. Um, that's not the sun. That's the birth portal. um, anyways, the sun in Virgo is this light that wants to shine on getting things correct and serving things in a way that really is beneficial and perfects things and improves things. And it's associated with the harvest time, so it's the time whenever you have to pick the fruit because if you don't, it'll go bad. It's the end of summer. It's ruled by Mercury, which is actually kind of cool. It's stationing, so you can't see this. I need a big touch screen to do this on, I think. But I'm out of space on my phone. I'm sorry, guys. It's gonna get better. This is just practice. But so the sun in Virgo, this big massive soul energy, like getting things right, serving, perfecting. It's it's big. It's big and it's in charge of, excuse me, it's ruled over by in the archetypal stories by Mercury or Hermes, like the messenger god, like the higher mind, the part of us that is thinking and analyzing and organizing. Um, it just takes the things and puts them in the right spot. Make sure that there's like a genuine sort of accommodation happening to all parts of the system. I think is that Sun in Virgo. It wants that. It's it's the place in between the Sun and Leo, which is like I am valuable. I am me. I am creative. I am steady. I am the I am kind of energy, sort of. And then Libra, which is a machine, an object, a tool, a balancing device, much less ferocious and wild like a lion. It's something more intellectual and more idea related. So because of that, I like Mercury in Libra because sharing ideas and social and harmonizing, it seems like a beautiful way of aesthetically balancing and doing the math, getting everything just right. It's a That's been my experience with Libra energy. So That Libra energy is in charge of Virgo. I think it's so close. So Virgo is really interesting. The sun in Virgo is so close to the sun in its rulership. And Mercury actually rules Virgo. So yeah, Virgo is just a really delicious, beautiful part of the zodiac. I'm a Virgo rising, so I might be biased. That energy, um, that light, is directly opposed by the moon. So what that means is it's a full moon, which means that nighttime is less dark. It's a time of activity. It's a time for doing things in the ancient world, right? Because we didn't have electricity. But you could definitely see things more clearly, and the night provided a little more activity. And because you're able to see as you're walking around, the light does play tricks on you. You are more likely to probably get injured as you're going about your business. So I imagine night is still sort of like a rest time, but full moons are more powerful. There's more visual data available to you, and it's in Pisces, which is kind of an escapist drug addicted moon, in my opinion. It's one that is on a lot of substances, or serving, like, as opposed to being on substances, you're serving a community. You're doing humanitarian work as opposed to escapist psychedelic sort of adventures. I gotta call myself out on that. Like, I guess a part of me feels like this is a very sort of Pisces service, just sort of talking about existence in a very universal way, despite just being one monkey creature with limited perspectives and experiences. But yeah, that moon in Pisces is people who are dreamers, people who are imagination stations, artists. I'm not saying if you don't have the Pisces placements, you don't have access to those things too. I think that's the thing about this practice is I don't want it to be divisive and I don't want it to be limiting, especially if it's bullshit. And then maybe astrology is bullshit. Maybe this will be the last time I ever do it. But it's nice to just sort of moan and complain and speak to the stars. Is this that different than praying? Is this that different than praying? Is praying okay? Is praying okay? I don't know. I feel like it's dangerous. I feel like it's dangerous. But how is that possible? How is it dangerous to pray? Is it dangerous to read fiction? Is it dangerous to meditate? Is life itself dangerous? It seems to me that it is. This sun in Virgo and moon in Pisces. It's relatively close to some of the more core places in my chart. The rising sign for me is 22 degrees Virgo, and this is at 17. So it's definitely like pretty close. So yeah, there's this bright light coming up on my full moon where it's pretty near me. It's it's like shine. It's like critique, perfect, do, serve. You know, like do it, Caleb. Like serve, serve the world. Like I want to be a resource to people. I want to be available to people. I am really smart and really grounded and really good, but it's like I don't know what's wrong. I don't know what's wrong with me or what's right with me, but I need people to tell me that they need me to help them. That's true. But I don't have very many resources. Like I don't have very much money. I don't have very much security. I don't have much wealth. But what I'm good at is helping. It's like I'll help you if you have money, but you have to help me. Like it's time to be like on the same page. It's like it's time for that. And maybe is there a part of me that's not helping? Is there a part of me that's not picking up the weight? Is the way that I want to do it valuable to society? What will happen I can't find a way to feel secure. If I can't find a person or people to like value me and want me and to support me, it's like I can't do it alone. And I know that I'm not doing it alone because society has all these structures and systems that have been producing so many different humans. My God, our systems have just, well, there's so many people on the planet. Why do I why do I sit here in my room instead of going out and trying to mingle? But I don't know where to go out to mingle. Like everything seems to be so task oriented. Like everything is like, go and do this, go and do that. Because Mercury is stationing retrograde, the mind the mind like Mercury is flitting back and forth compared to the other planets. It's flitting back and forth. It's not as flighty as maybe the moon, but I think it's the second most flighty of the planets. To me, the moon is a moment. The ascendant is like a fractal of a moment. The ascendant, like us, the energy that we actually emit by being us, the actual physical impact that one person has. Like, you'd say someone like Jesus or someone like Buddha or like, whoa, like they just impacted. You could say that someone like Oprah or Ellen DeGeneres or Donald Trump or, people whose names have just really been flashed before lots of people. You could say that they're having an impact. But still, like, when you say impact, it's like humans have a big impact on other humans. But what about other, like, the celestial bodies? Like, what we're saying doesn't really have much in the way of affecting, like, the stars or the planets. Like, it's not really a thing. Our impact is planetary bound. Not that that isn't very critical. I mean, human impact seems to have destroyed many species. Some of those species I don't think I'm necessarily like upset about because I kind of hate violent creatures. But there is this like very precarious balance in the world. Like I'm imagining all of a sudden, let's say all the predators, all like the vicious, mean predators in our archetypes just were taken away. What would happen to all the breeding, furry little guys, like the mice and the rats and the squirrels? Like if all these predator energy just stopped, that'd be dangerous. Unless, of course, it was accompanied by like a mass enlightening of the little furry creatures to know, hey, we don't need to live in scarcity. I get that message. I get why we say that message. The reality is, most of us have enough food and sleep enough to get up and do it again. There is a great capacity for humans to live. I can't say that my life is particularly enjoyable at this time. Um, like I think something is wrong. Something is wrong with me. I'm trying to be confident and bold and honest and share valuable ideas. I don't know if this is the right format, if this rambling, this ceremony, this experience I'm giving myself, which I'm limiting to twice a month, full moons and new moons. Of course, I may not have as much time to do this if I start getting more clients, but it's just like proving that I understand the ideas, I suppose. So if people want to have that experience, they can. But I'm also saying, like, I don't know if it's true, but it could be helpful to just talk about yourself and use the stars as a guide to do it, but trying to do it in a humane way, in a way that's not faith-based. It's so interesting. My own ideas are limited by my own experiences, just like all people's, I guess. I suppose just like Jesus's or Buddha's. It feels dangerous to say these words. It feels dangerous. If there really is higher beings and higher spirits and higher guides, then I ask for support and I ask for help and I ask for support and help and all those things. It's true. But I can't help but thinking I'm just asking the people who are watching. I don't know what it is because I have enough money, and this month I have my rent paid. But there's just no sense of stability or tribal or I'm in this with you. Of course, that's not totally true given that there's so many governmental structures and people and organizations that devoted their whole lives and their egos are, of course, twisted up in that. But the ideas of service, there are peacock feathers and sweaters, books, boots, cellular devices. There's ideas too inside me brimming. Ideas of magical new world. The salve of serpents, my story. Will you write it? Will you forever talk of it? How can I how can I do it without being coaxed by the universe? How can I the story that's coming out is angry and sad and scared and confused and yeah, I don't know. I want to be allowed to bring my best self and others' best selves forward. I'm trying. I'm trying not to clinch. I'm trying to relax. That's something that's feeling inspired because of the fact that Mercury, the retrograding planet, the one that, of course, it's always just going in one direction around the sun. If it was changing directions, this would be a very different world. It would be a way different rules. The momentum seems to be just like there's like a speed to the universe. Like there's a momentum to it. The planets are moving, so should I. I get it. But actually, because Mercury is stationing retrograde, and Mercury's in charge of the sun, and it's like of course I know that the planets don't stop, but when we look up at the stars, when we look up at the stars, we will see them like it's almost as if they're just like still. These are stars that did move compared to the other stars around them, but they're like still in one spot. So that inspires me to think about the idea of being still, even if it is just from my perspective. Even if I know that like inside me there's just tons of movement and tons of systems and structures and subatomic and cellular systems, the respiratory system, the endocrine system, like the science has attempted to name and segment and partition all these different things with great results, I think. Great, wonderful discoveries that can help all of us. Diseases and viruses seen here, I've had them. I've had illnesses. I've experienced them. I know that they're real and I know that they're coming. I know that death is coming. I know that death is coming. I know that death is coming. Life and death. The smallest and the greatest. Thinking about everything and then everything. Like, if I'm creating it, then I'm creating it. But I don't think I am. I want to show you. I want to show you my bookcase and my shirts. Like they're arranged similarly. Like it's true. I do put some degree of order on my space, on my process, on my literal material realm. To me, the most literal material realm is going to be in Taurus because it's like, but it doesn't have, I mean, it's all that. Even Sagittarius, which sometimes I think is the most fantastical. Like the most faithful, the most optimistic, the most like, I don't know, like when I was talking to my Sag rising friend just now, basically she was at the store and she was like, these boots are beautiful. I'm like, wow, you see beauty. You feel this like, yeah, sun and moon, sun and moon. The moon's ruled over by Jupiter in Aries. So Jupiter's actually on its way back to Pisces, but it moves much slower than Mercury. It takes 12 years to go around the zodiac. Whereas Mercury, like as far as like ground covered, like the mind and thinking and thoughts is what it's associated with. But like it's it's like our minds are moving and doing and exploring. They're thinking about the past and the future, and Mercury is like that. It's like past, future. Because Mercury is still in Libra, to me it's like asking you to think and communicate around your possessions and your money and your body. It's like saying like treat it fairly. Treat it fairly. I just am angry because it's like we get them, but we only get them for a short time, and we don't seem to have control over when we have them and don't. But am I just talking to like my own psyche, my own scattered demons and motivations and dragons and impulses and lusts and stuff? Is there it's like centering and just sort of coming coming to just like it feels dead, it feels empty, it feels scary, it feels everything. It feels still and wild. It's like I know that my body needs caretaking. I know that it does. I know that my possessions and my finances need to be well managed, and I'm trying to do that. In fact, I just need partnership. I just need allyship, and that's not a job. That's not a job. It's a truth. It's a tribe. It's a reality. It's like I need connection and relationship. I want those things. This system is tiring and scary, and I wonder why people are always on substances just to like move through it. And how can we learn and integrate that caveman animal with this other form of being? God damn it. Like, if we as a species are fucking up the planet, then let's stop. Let's stop doing that. Let's move towards something better. If we've gone too far and we're too blind, then let us see and awaken. I just feel trapped here. I feel I hate this place. I feel I hate this place. I hate the colors. Is that true? I hate the art. I hate the computer. I hate the popcorn ceiling. Then why have I said I loved it? Why did I purchase this? Why do I wear this ring? Jupiter right now is at 5 degrees in Aries. Um, on this day, right now, Jupiter's not. It's probably exactly like that. It's probably like closer to 6 or 7 because it moves pretty slow. I'd have to check. I could check, but um, that Jupiter in Aries is ruled over by Mars in Gemini. Venus, it the associations and the interconnections in astrology are so fantastic. I hope some of the things I'm rambling on about are connecting. It does feel like I just found my soapbox. I found the few things that I'm going to say until I no longer can speak. I'm curious if the fantasy book is the right move. I suppose there's only one way to know it. That's to write it. To write my anger and my pain and my despair and my rage. Is it worth sharing? Is it my punishment? Is it my pleasure? The Sun in Virgo ruled over by Mercury in Libra, which is ruled over by Venus in Virgo. I'm going to talk about this mutual reception energy because Mercury is the king or queen or they. I just think Mercury could probably be just a they. Like the intellect and the ego can be a they. The body is typically male or female, unless there's surgeries and operations and hormones and things to sort of move the body in another direction. We'll probably get even better at that. I wonder if it'll get to a point where we can just like very quickly just like morph in and out of like the physical experience of a woman or a physical experience of a man. I mean, it's right now the natural order is more like born with a dick, die with a dick. Now it's like born with a dick, remove that surgically, build a vagina. I have no idea how those processes work. I'm very sensitive and I don't want to put my body under any kind of like duress. And surgeries are like that for me. I found them to be very unpleasant, so I'm avoiding them. But at the same time, they're very helpful and critical. And if someone's psyche is, which I think is a neutral, it's a they, it's not male or female, it's androgynous, if you will. Hermes is more androgynous, I guess. Is Mercury more androgynous? I don't know. Like, does it have all of them? Is it hermaphrodite Hermes? I mean, it's a fun system. It's been around for a long time. People have been talking about the human experience well before we had all this technology, and I'm not opposed to the technology. To me, Libra, since it is a tool, should be given a lot of credit for using the technology, whether that's britches or Bitcoin or whatever system of thought and idea and tool is available. Rocket ships, I suppose. It's the only one on the zodiac. I guess Aquarius has some tool usage, right? It's got the like carrying the water. The cup is a tool. It serves a function and it's human designed. But it's also not human designed. Like a cup could just be a coconut that collected water and then all of a sudden you started carrying it around and then eventually, like, I don't know, how did the consciousness learn to become this way, to drink this way as opposed to that way, as opposed to like a dog, just lapping it up with its tongue, which is nowhere near as efficient as we do it seems. A lot more effort and I don't know. I wonder if you could teach a dog to just swallow. Do we want to do that? I don't know. As you can see, Neptune, the planet of delusion, pretty close to this moon, and I am on a substance. So take all of this with a very large scoop of salt water. um, yeah, mutual reception. Mercury rules Virgo, Venus rules Libra. That shared responsibility is interesting because it's not a mutual reception that's like super convenient. Like um I'm not gonna get too much into the technical side of the astrology, but Mercury rules Virgo, Venus rules Libra. So let's just talk about the condition. I believe that Mercury in Libra is like really set up well. It may not have like every single fucking thing that it needs, but it has probably like 85%. And it's sort of like make it work. Like do the best that you can. Like you've got a lot of skills. You have a lot of powers. You have a lot of capacity. So it's like use them. So I'm feeling that kind of strong message from Mercury. Um, it's the reason that I'm also channeling that I think is this opposition, or I'm just associating what I said with the planets, which is essentially the same thing. I don't mean to mislead anyone, but Mercury and Jupiter, that opposition, um, it's in Aries, so it's that individual spark of like you can do it. We are moving from winter to springtime. Like we are bursting through, we are ramming ourselves forward. This impulse from the head, it's like, boom. That big opposition is like you. What's coming up is you have a ton of resources and a ton of talents. You don't have exactly the audience you want right now, Caleb, but you do have this capacity, and you are going to fucking do it. Like do it, do it, do it. It's done. It's already happened. You've already written your book. Like that kind of like final result. Like you will do it. You are seeing artists doing it. You acknowledge that providing entertainment is something that people love and it is valuable, and you can try and try and try and try and try and try, and it's just a little maddening. It's a little maddening. It's a little maddening. I'm a little tired. I'm a little angry. I'm a little depressed. But this is energy. This is energy. Fuck. Like there's something dark. There's something that's just so. What is it? What is it? How can I do better? How can I be more? What do I need to do better? Why am I always trying to do? Maybe I could do less. Maybe I could accept more. I feel entitled to more. It's strange. It is strange. It's like I feel entitled to better. But I think Jupiter in Aries probably does carry that signification. Like an Aries energy is a go, push through, or doer. It's not the results person. The results person is probably Aquarius. Just sort of like, and that's a prison of its own. It all feels like a prison to me, especially when you start to get into Saturn ideas. But it's also gravity. I think it's like the reality of the experience we're having. It's the limitations and the restrictions of it. It's the sound that my hand is making. It's the fact that my heart will not beat forever. Why do I believe that? Because that seems to be the way it is. Is there a way that I can get a machine and a computer or something to keep this like animating eruption on this? I mean, there are a lot of people who are going to be able to talk, and I don't think any of the things I'm saying are exactly like revolutionary. They're all just sort of like, yeah, the universe is pretty crazy. But there's maybe a way that I could create my own universe. I could write my own story. But it's breaking my heart. It's breaking my heart. I am broken. 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 It's like a mantra that it's somehow soothing. Yeah, I get that. It's like I am identifying with being broken. I am broken. I am broken. Is it true? I am broken. When I get really logical and physically, it doesn't feel like there's a break. Emotionally, am I broken? Spiritually, mentally, am I broken? Am I broken? Is the storytelling part of me broken? I am broken. I am broken. Is it true? I am broken. I am broken. I am broken. I am broken. What's coming up for me as I say those words is I'm thinking about the I. Not this I, maybe it's the third I, but like I, me, I am broken. The ego is broken. Is that true? I am broken. I am broken. Woo, yeah, it's really interesting. I am broken. I'm thinking there should be music. Music makes people feel more comfortable. But I don't want to steal it. I suppose I could be playing it, but I'm not that good at playing it. I've got a very pleasant singing voice, though. At least that's what keeps getting mirrored back to me by many, many, many people. It's not quite like American Idol. Like, people are like, oh, I like your voice. Oh, it sounds nice. They could be lying to me or bullshitting me just to ensnare me, but then I actually listen back to my voice and like it. I kind of like it. It's very gentle. It's not very. If you're listening to this, there's a chance that you like my voice, but I know it's been like 34 fucking minutes, and I'm like, what have I done? Like I've shared, performed. And I've had people recently, especially, just basically like mirror back that that's valuable. And I don't know if it's something that I can do that brings comfort to people and soothes people. I guess I will do it. And I'll try to do it in the most harmonious, sensible, balanced, fair, reasonable way. But I do need to take care of myself, and I'm just starting to feel like if I, what is it? I don't want to be stingy, but I don't know where to go. Show me where to go. Who am I asking to show me where to go? You? Do you know where I should go? Do you? I mean, I'm being strong. There's this doctor that's working with psychedelics, like in the West, and I'm like, I wanted to make an impression on him, so I just like said, I am resolved. When you realize that what you need is me, reach out. Like if he listens to that, it's in there. I used my resolve and my fire energy and my command energy, my masculine energy to just like force. It's like, and I understand that that's a risk, but I also think it's very valuable and very powerful thing to do, and I believe it's worth the risk. And I'm attempting to do that, and I'm wondering if one day it'll pay off. I'm wondering if one day it'll pay off. I don't need much. I don't consider myself a mooch. I've got everything that I need, Caleb. You are an artist. You are a creative. You were groomed to be that way. You are a thinker. You are a worker. You have many capacities. You are a jack of all trades. You are a doer of many ideas. A person who can relate to many different people. You can have authentic conversations. You can go places. You gauge what's effective. You're working with the consciousness. You're called a therapist, but you're not. You don't have that title. You're an astrologer. You're a lifestyle engineer. You're a person who can help people who open up with you. You're trying to do that. You're trying to do that. Make it clearer. Make it more simple. Narrow it down. Help people know what it is you are and what it is you like and what it is you want to do. Ask and you will receive. It feels like I'll ask. I don't know if I'll receive. That's what feels more true. Ask and you shall receive. What does that mean? So scattered. I am broken. Is it true? I am broken. Do I even believe it? There's no more emotionality associated with saying it. I am broken. 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 This is how I come up with names for my book, by the way. I am broken. 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 Yeah, that could work. It has like a newness, a novelty to it, which I think is nice. And it's also it's acceptable, like to the brain. Naya broken. Naya broken. A Naya broken to me is like a river. It could be a river. The Naya broken. It has a sound to it. I understand it's gibberish, but it has something. It's enough to utilize it to be creative with. It's like for me, my brain is always generating, ideating, ideation. It's just my mind is doing that very very much all the time. It seems. I don't think there's really a way to stop it. Maybe I can channel it. Um, you're getting a glimpse of my creative process, which I think is appropriate for this astrological thing. That's the weird thing about it. Maybe it's self-fulfilling, or maybe I'm just trying to calm or continue your train of thought or your ideation. I don't know who I'm talking to. I'm talking to everyone. It's the universe. To any god from any realm, to any person, to any place, to anything. anything that can hear me, anything that wants to listen. I have needs, I have desires, and I request them to be met. And I'm maybe endlessly desiring and maybe endlessly lusting, and then I need help with that. If I, or maybe I need to just do a lot less. Maybe I need more hugs. Maybe I need more nurturing. Maybe I need more. Is it? I really am trying to do my best. And I know it's on a timeline. I know I already have some scars and some germs and some things that have begun the decomposing process. Like it's already happened. It happened the moment I was born. It's like it's like the universe. Seems to be the pattern. It like stretches us, and then it's just. Can you see the waves of the beach as I talk about them, or the sand between your toes? I know that I can write. I know that I can. I have written. Oh my God, Caleb, it's you. Write the story. Do it. Do it. Do it today. But first, feed yourself and apply for work and audition and stress and or just get stoned. Like I mean, clearly there's productivity issues that I have and escapist tendencies. Like I get it. This is me. I get it. For some reason, it's not wanting to save. The Naya broken. Ooh, I am broken. The Naya broken. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not trying to hate on the universe. I'm not trying to hate on a relationship with God. Like, whenever you, whenever you, I could get back to this, or I could just share my ideas. It doesn't matter. It's all the same shit. When I think about, when I feel into and explore with ideas, my experience, there's this very wide net that's being cast, this very expansive, like big idea. And then there's the simple day to day embodiment, how it could all unfold, where it could all go. It's interesting. But when you look at the earth, when you look at reality and what it's doing, it's produced a great deal of diversity of creatures, a great variety of different things. Um, like the way that people survive, how they live, it's so remarkable. And I'm kind of going for a more like elven experience. It's like I don't know, the archetypes in Lord of the Rings and Harry Potter and Game of Thrones. Like there's such a power. I need some tea. I'm a bit dehydrated. I think. What else am I going to talk about on this episode of me rambling? I better fix this chair. One of the screws fell out. This is not the first time. This is not the first time. I am trying to. I don't feel like I'm as good with um my body and controlling it whenever I'm stoned, but I do think it inspires me to ramble. I'm just so. I'm so trying. I'm so trying. And now I'm succeeding in screwing in the chair. And I don't know if you guys can even hear me. I don't know if the production value is good, but I think I'm sexy with my lion's mane. Ah, maybe I should go to the dentist. I don't know. It's like I have to like train my mouth to work better. Fuck. This may be helpful. Insanity. Hopefully, hopefully it is. Please like and subscribe if this is entertaining or valuable to you. That's wonderful. I would love that knowledge and encouragement, confirmation, if you will, from other beings. Is it dangerous what I'm asking to you? Am I trying to enmesh you? Am I trying to take from you? I mean, I've been giving energy, been sharing ideas. That feels like no different than what a talk show host is doing. But I'm doing it because I want to do it, not because of advertising. I don't know. Maybe I am out of bounds in some way. Maybe I am being ungrateful or unrealistic or all those things. Maybe I am broken. Ooh, there's a strange energy. And I'm learning to just sort of like let it run its course. Just moving through it as it arises. Whether or not it's medicine or addiction, I don't know. I'm able to, I've been surviving. I've been living. I'm, I'm able to, I've been able to, thus far, do certain things with my body and eat certain ways. And can I? Can I do it? Can I keep going? Can I keep trying? Is it possible for me to write? Is it possible for me to win the hearts of others? Is it possible for that not to be necessary? Is it endless ideas? Not even sure it's helpful. Not even sure it's helpful. A little green tea, a little honey, a little honey, a little stretching. I didn't really get into the whole chart. I think I've got it in my head though. So it's Sun in Virgo, ruled over by Mercury in Libra, ruled over by Venus back in Virgo. So there's that self-contained loop. And then on the other side of the heavens, you've got the moon in Pisces, ruled over by Jupiter in Aries, ruled over by Mars in Gemini. Mars is in charge of the embodiment. It's in charge of the what you're receiving. It's closely near you. There's like the general impulse of the sun, and there's the moon, much closer, I think much more intimate, much more locked. Like the sun to me doesn't have like it's this volatile eruption. It doesn't have a body. It doesn't have a you can't walk on it. You can't the moon you can walk on. I don't think we're ever gonna have the technology to get close to a sun unless we can create some sort of like vessel that is totally impervious to any sort of damage or connect. It would have to be so different. It would have to be so yeah. Even thinking about this idea is just sort of like whoa. It's something that is like able to overcome any obstacle. And I'm like, whoa, this is getting very much into like belief stuff. And like, what if that energy is used to bulldoze and destroy? It's like I'm afraid of that. But at the same time, when I visualize this like thing that the sun couldn't even fuck with, that we could like get up and close to it. I'm wondering if like right now, like, we are kind of already doing that. We're exploring it with our minds and with our ideas and with equipment and but it is at a distance. Like to move into the heart of the sun, to like go into that point of just what would that look like? What would that feel like? It's so different there than here on the planet. It's so different there. In that like point of explosion, an eruption, fusion, fission, whatever it is. I don't actually know the scientific terms, but more or less a large eruption. Looking at the sun, exploring it. It's something that I might do. Well, I prefer sunsets. I think it's less dangerous for your eyes. I did recently just lose my second pair of this glasses, which at this point I'm I have many pairs of glasses, but I'm like, I wonder why. I wonder why I've lost something twice. My parents are very generous and replaced the second one because that's their business. But it's kind of they're beautiful and they're powerful and they're very helpful tools. Um, Things that you've lost, things that you've broken, breaking other people's things. What about species lost? What about Mars and Gemini makes a lot of sense given how this reading has gone. Gemini is my public image, career, legacy. Not necessarily legacy, but that's more 12th house. But 10th house is like, I mean, it's how you're seen in the community, maybe in the and that I guess the size of that depends on the person. I think some people's public image is a lot larger than others. Like we have people who are reported upon for going to the store. I imagine there's a lot of that kind of. Part of me feels like I could be a TMZ journalist, just like a celebrity journalist, but like true journalist. That could be really fun, and I could just be like factually observing, like. But I feel uncomfortable. I feel a bit uncomfortable about that. Like, would you want someone just following you around being like, you're at the grocery store, taking pictures of your children over walls? Like most people, I don't think are going to harm, but yeah, some of the incidences with reporters and celebrities and stalkers and all that stuff is very unsettling. I don't know, most relationships and most connections I have with people do seem to go pretty well, though. Most people are just fine. And then other times you have kamikazes. You've got all sorts of crazy energies in the world. And those people are motivated by something, some sort of inertia. It's kind of insane. And anyways, back to the chart. Mars and Gemini ruled over by Mercury and Libra. Again, it's not Mercury and Libra. That's stationing. It's just like literally just like boom. The normal fast moving is still. And it is associated with the mind. Stilling the mind. Stilling the body. I have been very still lately. I'm not telling you that you should be still or that you shouldn't be still. I don't know. Depends on the environment that you're in. I have found there's great value in movement practices and still practices like yoga or vipassana, which are kind of similar and hopefully associated, I believe. That's been my own personal experience. So, those are things that I could consider. I met a beautiful man virtually very recently, too. Um, yeah, just never met the person. I haven't met them, but just like in their 50s and just took exemplary care of themselves. And it was very, like, nice to see, like, a very handsome man in his 50s. Do I want to be that way? It will require work in the day-to-day. Do I want to have muscles? Do I want to be attractive? Well, yeah, but I guess there's pros and cons to being attractive. There's perks to being invisible. There's perks to being mundane. There's perks to being an unknown. What can you do? Where can you go? What can you explore? How can you maintain? How can you be helped and help? There's an anger, there's a rage, there's a numbness, there's a endless reflector instead of a tempter. Seems like that ratio is off for me. People say, "Oh, you're overthinking things. Oh, you're overthinking things. You're thinking too much." But I'm like, okay, that's some interesting feedback. That's some interesting commentary. And because my mental state is sort of struggling, I've had people say that I need to, like, box. But I'm, like, laying on the ground most of the day, or laying on a bed when I was visiting my friend. Or, like, there's not a lot of that energy. And I wonder if it is because of how I eat. But I'm still capable. Like, last night I worked in the heat all day, but it wasn't like digging holes or putting up things. It wasn't like that kind of work. It was making sure that the mats were laid out and making sure that the guests sat near one another on the Hollywood Forever Cemetery grounds, as opposed to spread out because we're trying to share the space with 4,000 people. I feel like this experience there has just been very, very beautiful and very transformative. I wanna I wanna make it beautiful, more beautiful. I wanna help, like, any work that I get involved in. But it's been clear to me that people are not necessarily interested in changing certain things. I feel like simplifying things needs to be what happens. Narrowing down in my own life. And the simple truth is, your body needs loving attention. If you choose to maintain the body while you can, if you choose to think about your posture, like I was just crossing and moving my finger, like there's an inertia here. If I just let go and just sort of dance and flow, that's available to me. Music is probably going to be one of my allies, I think, in movement, practicing dancing and sharing, testing out what is possible in my body, mindfully, steadily, sexually, mentally. Am I all talk and no walk? Am I all talk and no walk? Will I write my stories? I don't have to. Will I take care of my body? I don't have to. Are there consequences to doing or not doing? Yes. Answers and words, riddles and fumblings. Long hair, short hair, black, white, night, day. Trying, believing, I feel inspired to pull up a chart really quick. I don't know if it's going to be available, but is there anything else on this one? We did Sun, we did Moon, we did Mercury, we did Venus, we did Jupiter, we did Saturn, sort of. It's in Aquarius. What's directly aspecting the Sun? Moon, of course. Neptune. A little bit of Pluto, but that's in conjunction. It's like a whole sun trine. Oh. A sudden shift, a sudden change into your routine. Sudden shift, sudden change into your routine. Sudden shift, sudden change. Erratic. That's where the North Node is, I think. Where is it? The North Node, yes, is in Taurus. The South Node is in Scorpio, so it's like moving towards that comfortability, steady eating, swallowing, singing, beauty of nature. Go to it, be on the earth, be an animal, be a comfortable animal, be a domesticated animal. Leave the warrior path right now. Like the South Node is that's your comfort zone. The comfort zone is the warrior path and the hustler and the attacker. Let's go towards comfort and steadiness. Like, but then again, if I'm saying those things, what if there's people who are being, well, you can get to either side. Because I was afraid that like encouraging people to be more domesticated and comfortable is a bad thing, but true comfort and true harmony does demand integration with the environment. So, at least in my opinion, at least that's what I'm hoping to connect. So, if a person is struggling physically, if they're unhealthy, that also needs to be encompassed. And if encompassing that means you do need to be a little bit more Scorpio vibes and like, yeah, the eclipse point is what the North Node means. The moon's not close enough to it to be an eclipse. This is just a normal full moon, but yeah, that eclipse point is sort of like it's very auspicious, but to me, it's very ominous and hidden. I often talk about the eclipses happening when you don't have electricity, and then all of a sudden it's just day and then night in the middle of the day. Like that could be very, or at least dark. I mean, I've been to an eclipse. You can definitely see different things. I experienced an eclipse when I was pretty young. When I was pretty young in Africa. I don't know which eclipse that was, but I remember that was kind of like my first real relationship with the planets. And I didn't understand them. I never really thought about them. I don't really understand many things. But what I do understand and what I do know, I will hold. I will mesh to, it seems. I imagine many people are like that. But anyways, the chart that I want to pull up is, okay, To Kill a Mockingbird was written by Harper Lee. So I want to look up Harper Lee. She's the one that's coming up. Harper Lee was born April 28th, 1926, and she died in 2016. She was an American novelist, best known for To Kill a Mockingbird. It won a Pulitzer Prize and has become a classic of modern American literature. Man, that would be cool to like have my work be that great. Lee has received numerous accolades and honorary degrees, including the Presidential Medal of Freedom in 2007, which was awarded for her contribution to literature. Such an ego trip, but it's like, damn, so cool. She assisted her close friend Truman Capote in his research for the book In Cold Blood. In Cold Blood, Capote was the basis for the character Dill Harris in To Kill a Mockingbird. Interesting, I should reread that. But the plot and characters of To Kill a Mockingbird are loosely based on Lee's observations of her family and neighbors, as well as the events that occurred near her hometown in 1936 when she was 10. The novel deals with the irrationality of adult attitudes towards race and class in Deep South. Yeah, so much of me feels like I'm about to write this style of book because of some sort of like just it was so immersive. Like I remember just being like, I want to know what's going on. I want to. This person's perspective is so valuable and so helpful. That was how I felt it. Yeah, The Eyes of Two Children. It was inspired by racist attitudes in her hometown, Monroeville, Alabama. Go Set a Watchman, written in the mid-1950s, was published in July 15 as a sequel to Mockingbird, but was later confirmed to be an earlier draft. I don't know about her other stuff. I never expected any sort of success with Mockingbird. I was hoping for a quick and merciful death at the hands of the reviewers, but at the same time I sort of hoped someone would like it enough to give me encouragement, public encouragement. I hoped for a little, as I said, but I got a rather a whole lot, and in some ways this was just about as frightening as the quick, merciful death I'd expected. I really resonate with what she's saying. It's kind of terrifying. Hmm, interesting. Go Set a Watchman. The title comes from Isaiah 21:6. For thus hath the Lord said unto me, Go, set a watchman, let him declare what he seeth, which is quoted in the book 7th chapter by Mr. Stone, the minister character. I should probably explore both of these books again. Maybe I'll download them and listen to them. Maybe I will, but the real reason I want to pull up her stuff is also to see her birth chart. Harper Lee birth chart. Let's see what we got. An excellent birth. That's fun. So, her ascendant is at 12 degrees Libra. Mercury is stationed at 8 degrees Libra, so it's pretty close. It's 8:55, and hers was 12, almost 13. 8, 12:56, so it's 4 degrees away, so there's definitely some resonance there. She has Mercury in Aries, like I do. She has Venus in Pisces. Oh. Venus in Pisces. The tropical stars confirm that, like, when it comes to beauty and love, she has it in this place of exaltation. But in the house of, well, either by whole or um, by the whole or Campanus or whatever house system this is. The yeah, she would have been, and this could maybe be confirmed by researching her. I don't know, but someone who's the way that she shows up is this very dissolved universal lover. I think that's why Venus might have such a great time in Pisces, because it's just like put up on display. So it's like she was put up on display in a way for these dreamy ideas. That's powerful. Whenever I look at someone's chart, I like often wonder like, how does it apply to my chart? And the thing is, I don't know if it does at all. I don't know if any of this makes sense, and I don't want you to not go for the things that you want just because the stars haven't said, like, oh, you're going to be successful and famous. I don't like that. Oh, wow, it's interesting. When you look at her chart, though, that north node and Pluto, like, are very close to the top of her chart, which is a Cancer portion. Um, Pluto is a very powerful, transformative energy. So that's pretty dope. And I do think that her ideas, like, probably are churning us up at the deepest level, like, and about inclusivity and nurturing and safety and protection. And I do think that her perspectives absolutely affected tons and tons and tons and tons of people. Hopefully for the better. Hopefully for the better. I need to reread it and see. I'm sure that it becomes dated with time, and it does seem like eventually that happens with all ideas. But yeah, so she's got the ruler of her ascendant in Pisces, and that's ruled over by Jupiter in Aquarius. Yeah, there's a lot of energy going towards Aquarius and Pisces and Aries. Yeah, Sun in Taurus. She's definitely on that side of the zodiac, kind of this portion. I relate. Um, she doesn't have too much Gemini though. Gemini is, oops. Gemini is going to be ruled over by this Aries. Her moon is in Scorpio. Shit, that's a tough one. With Saturn, ooh, fuck. I want to read about her. She must have had some sort of crazy, like, like, like poverty. I don't know. I'm curious to. I mean, when she was describing like the quick merciful death, like Saturn in Scorpio conjunct the moon in Scorpio, I'm just like, damn. Mars is in Aquarius, which is, it's neutral, I think. It's neutral. It's in a relatively good spot, I suppose. In charge of it. I guess she does have mutual reception, which is nice, between Saturn in Aquarius and Mars in Scorpio. That's good. That's mitigating, but it is creative energy. Super creative. Lots of creative energy. Yeah, I need to read about her. I'm gonna enjoy learning about an artist who did something, and maybe there's a way that just immersing myself in her story will inspire me to do the same. Maybe inspire you to do the same. I don't know what you need to do. I'm angry about the universe. I might go for a swim. I might scream. I might FaceTime my friend. I might go to the grocery store once I feel of sound mind. I'm definitely going to hydrate. Fuck, 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 fuck. Awaken, awaken. Love, light, and the snakes bite, y'all.